All right, are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, so another story about working remote and how employees are disgruntled about having to come back into the office. I'm really surprised that this is still such a big issue. And I'm surprised it's making the news still. The interesting thing is leaders, we deal with differences in belief systems all the time. That's where most of the conflict comes from. That's where the anger comes from. That's where the disagreements come from. That's where the testiness comes from because we have different beliefs on how things should be done unless we have learned to use that to collaborate and to innovate and become better, better, better. So, this whole thing around remote working, again, is a difference in belief set. Before COVID, before the pandemic, working from home, I can remember in companies it was such a major ordeal. Oh my gosh, human resource would get involved and the managers would get involved, and we're all talking about how important it is and how not important it is, and they should be in the office and what's a good reason. It was huge. And if one person got to work from home on your team, well, then the rest of the team was all upset. They're all ticked off because they want to work from home too. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people said that's a benefit they're getting that I'm not getting. How come they get it and I don't get it? That puts a lot of, challenge into managing and leading the organization. That's what you want to avoid. You don't want that kind of challenge. You don't want that kind of disgruntled employee because they talk about how it's going to impact engagement, right? It's going to reduce engagement because they have and I don't have. And so now here we are still, again, coming out of the pandemic. We're working from home, which was a necessity, now is being viewed as a benefit as from the employees. If you want me to be happy, I need to work from home. And the company is saying it's no longer a benefit because it's no longer a business necessity. Now, the CEO of Bolt, which is the version of Uber in Europe, so the rideshare company in Europe, and the CEO is Marcus Villig, said, I just want my people to come back into the office 12 days a month. Currently, they're coming back in about 2 days a week. And he said, that's just not enough. So I want you back 12 days a month. The rest of the time, you can work remote if you want to. So if you think about this 12 days a month, it's only really 3 days a week. And what his statement is that I believe that we're more innovative and more collaborative if you come into the office. I agree. I agree. I think there's just an energy around when people come together. There is something about coming together and having these ideas and sparking the ideas and going with it and this bantering back and forth. Elon Musk is someone that is very adamant. He even says remote work is morally wrong. Well, in his case, and in many cases of a lot of companies, there's a lot of people that have to come into work every day. I mean, if you're in manufacturing, you have to come into work every day because you can't do your work from home. You can't run the machine from home. You can't do the press from home. You can't do that stuff. So you have to come in. And often companies have large populations of employees that have to be there to do their job. And there's a smaller handful of employees that work in the offices that can more easily work from home. So in his case, I can see where he's saying, well, for my company, it's morally wrong because a lot of my people have to come in and build the cars and build the rockets. I need them here. Why shouldn't you be here too? One point of view. There is also, however, the employee side. And the employees have gotten comfortable and learned how to work from home. And many have gotten better at it. Some have abused it. Not everybody. I mean, we talk about people like going to Bali and different places on vacation and working. They're not all doing that, right? A lot of them are just working from home. They get up and you don't have to shower and you put on your sweatpants and maybe brush your teeth if you want to or not to. And you brush your hair because you're going to be on Zoom calls. And that's become very comfortable for people. So now having to come back into the office it's transportation costs, there's food costs. For some people, there's childcare costs. It's a disruption again after you've come into that pattern of learning to work from home effectively and efficiently. Now that's all disrupted and you have to go to the office. And the company's saying, look, that was fine during the pandemic, but we don't have the pandemic anymore. So it's time to come back to the office. Well, here we sit. This vast chasm of beliefs. Employees saying, I've proven myself, why do I need to come back in? I'm still productive. And the company saying, that's great, but I want you here because, well, if you walk out the door and look at the sign, it doesn't say Bob's company, it says the company name. And we want you back in the office. So employees are irritated, agitated, angry, and I get it because it's another change. They believe they're doing well. There's no easy answer. But I will say, I do agree if you want innovation collaboration, it does happen most easily when you're all together. Because you can just grab people together, pull them in an office, pull in a meeting room. Something sparks, you go look at something. I remember I worked in an area and an idea would come up and I'd be like, hey, come back. Let's go get so-and-so. Let's go back and look at it and let's talk about it. And that kind of thing you can't do when people are working remote. Now, there's other ways to collaborate when you're working remote, but there is an element of in-person. Again, I'm surprised that we're still writing articles about it. I'm surprised that we still are talking about it so much. The bottom line is the company's going to ask you to do what the company wants you to do. And I can't remember, was it Amazon that says you want to come back to the office, then leave? They have the ability to say that. It sounds very harsh. It sounds rude. It sounds mean. It sounds, not very employee focused. But the bottom line is they can, whether we like it or not. So again, we're dealing with the belief set, and there's no good way to bring it together, right? There's just no way. And employees are most likely either going to quit or come back begrudgingly. And some may come back and be happy about it because, frankly, in some cases, for some people, it's just a little bit easier to come back to work, right? Not be distracted all day. But the pandemic is over. And those things that we got used to during the pandemic, which employees have seen now as a entitled benefit, are no longer. And the companies can do whatever they want to do, basically. It was a good article. The article, I just checked. The article was written by Sarah Jackson for Insider. It was a good article. It was very short, very poignant, but I think we can stop talking about it now. It's time to move on. Either just go back to work or leave. That's your choice. Or come back with some type of discussion for accommodation for some way, for some reason if you need it. But the bottom line is times are changing and they're kind of going back to where we were before. So tune up your car, get your train passes, get your walking shoes on, get rid of the sweats, buy some new clothes, and step back into the office. Hey, whatever you do, make sure it's in your heart. Let's drive the world to be a better place. Have a good day.